Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Let's DevOps. In today's video, we are going to see GitOps using Argo CD. Let's first understand what is GitOps. GitOps is a principle that uses Git as your single source of truth. So you know that all of the source code is version controlled in a version control tool like Git. But when you are going into the infra, a CI/CD pipeline will involve deploying an image into Kubernetes as well. Now, all of the manifests that we create for this Kubernetes deployment is nothing but infrastructure as a code. In that case, we would also want to version control this infra code into Git. Initially, couple of years back, we weren't doing that, but recently it has become a norm across organizations that you need to also do IAC, which is infrastructure as a code. Treat your infrastructure code as a similar to your source code and version control it. Right, now that we have a application source code, also the infrastructure code sitting in your Git repository, then Git becomes your single source of truth. Now is when the Argo CD comes into the picture. Argo CD is a tool that constantly keeps looking into your repository, and more so, it is interested in the infrastructure repo. So it keeps an eye on the infrastructure repo, and the moment you do a code change, infra change, then Argo CD identifies, oh, okay, there is a code change. Now I need to deploy these code changes into the cluster and then sync the cluster with the configuration that is there in the source code repo. If this is something that looks interesting for you, then let's get started. Now to test out Argo CD and then play around, we need an Argo CD instance on our local machine. Now, installing and setting up an Argo CD instance is very easy, and that is what we are going to see in episode 1, and quickly followed by an episode 2 where we are going to play with a real application and create the infrastructure code deployment manifests for this application and see how modifying this application, configuration changes will affect an Argo CD pull, and then it will deploy it into the cluster. Step 1, let's get an Argo CD instance installed in our local machine. Couple of prerequisites that you need for this. One is you need a local Linux environment. So if you're using a Mac or a Windows OS, get a Linux environment ready. So I've used Ubuntu I've installed Ubuntu using WSL, so that becomes my Linux environment. And you need kubectl command line to be installed in the machine. And what else do you need? And definitely you need a Kubernetes environment. So I have Minikube environment, a simple basic one worker, one node Minikube environment, and that's all you need to get started. Yeah. Right, now if I have my Minikube environment already up and running, and if I give a kubectl, there you can see that there is nothing, just the default and couple of cube related namespaces. Now there is a very easy, straightforward documentation about Argo CD. Just type Argo CD on the internet and then you will find it's consolidated. This is a very beautiful document that they have created on Argo CD. But to make it even more easier, I've only taken the pieces that you really need, the couple of commands that you need to get your Argo CD installed on your local machine. Now let me jump to the file that I have. Hey guys, before getting further into the video, I hope you're liking the content coming out from Let's DevOps. Thank you so much for that. If you are someone who's looking out for career guidance in DevOps, DevSecOps, or you would like to do a domain shift from any other domain into DevOps, DevSecOps, but you're not sure how to get started, that is where you can reach out to me personally on one-on-one sessions or one-on-one mentorship sessions via TopMate. I have a list of services that I offer for colleagues who would want to get themselves started, or if you're already in DevOps but you would want to strengthen your skills, then please do reach out to my services on TopMate. If not, if you're already in DevOps but you're finding it hard to crack an interview, I also support with mock DevOps, DevSecOps interviews purely based on my experience and from the different interviews that I've given and also taken being a DevOps architect. Or if you're completely from a non-IT background, but you have cracked your first job in Germany, I also provide complete relocation assistance, which involves what's the salary you need to negotiate, support you need on the visas, what are the things that you need to look for when you are moving to Germany, apartment search, the initial expenses, and so on. All of it, I can break it down and give you a concise list of what you need to look for before moving into Germany. If any of these services could be of help to you, please do reach out to my TopMate URL. I will pin it here, and also you can find it on the description of each of my videos. Thank you so much. Let's jump back into the video. First things first, you need to create a namespace for Argo CD. So let's go ahead and then create a namespace. Just freeze the screen and then catch hold of all the commands so that it will be easier for you. Right. I go ahead and create a namespace created. I quickly check. There you have Argo CD. Second thing, you need to install a install.yaml. So Argo CD team have pretty much packaged all of the services that is required for an Argo CD instance to be up and running in an install.yaml. All you need to do is just deploy or install the install.yaml. That's available in this location. So you just have to pretty much copy and hit run. It is going to create a list of deployments, services, config maps, secrets, network policies, and a lot more stuff that is required for Argo CD to get in shape. Right. Now, before going further, I want to check if all of the deployments, secrets, configs, pods that is supposed to get created out of this install has happened clean, and then we can proceed later. So to check that, I have a command. I mean, most of you would know what it is, but for people who are getting started with Kubernetes, kubectl -n Argo CD. So on the Argo CD namespace, I want to get all, which includes all the pods, deployments, every information, along with config maps and secrets as well. So I go here and then I paste. There you go. It gives me a whole lot of information, but I'm very keen in looking for a couple of things. One is pod information. All of the pods that is required for Argo CD is running clean, good. And I will also check the deployments where 1 out of 1, all of the deployments are also looking good, which means that the entire installation has happened. Good, perfect. Right, let's continue further. Now that the installation is all done, we want the application to be exposed on a certain port so that I can go on the browser and then start browsing it. So to do that, there is a port forwarding command that we need to run. And again, a quick explanation, kubectl port forward. There is a service called Argo CD server that you will find should already be there. I can quickly check under services. Right here, this is the service block, and there should be a service called service Argo CD server. And this service we want to put forward and expose it to the internal port 8080. Thereby, we should be able to then access it on the browser with port 8080. Right, now that it's an interactive trigger, I will create another instance of Ubuntu, a running session. And here you can see the port forwarding has started, which means it is now ready to receive traffic from the port 8080, the local host 8080. Come back quickly. Advanced, proceed. Why do you get this HTTPS error? Because we don't have any secure certificate behind, and we are only running it on localhost. So you are bound to get this error. There you go. Your Argo CD instance is installed, ready, up and running on your localhost 8080. And how do you get in? The default username is admin, but how do I get the initial password? The initial password can be accessed from one of the other services. So there is a secret that gets created as a part of your installation. And inside that, there is a secret called Argo CD initial admin secret. It's from there that you can fetch this initial password. But how do I do that? First, let's look into this service just like we did. So before we jump into the next episode of actually playing around with an actual application, what are the prerequisites you need? You need a Git repository where we are going to put in some source code and deployment manifest files, and basic understanding of how a Helm or a customize works. That's pretty much it. All right, if this video was interesting, please do like, share, and subscribe. Keep watching. Let's DevOps. Take care. Bye-bye. Copy. There you go. I have all the secrets here, and there you can see that there is this initial admin secret. How do I access it? I mean, one good way to access the content of this without, there are multiple ways to get it, but one easier way would be to get the output of the secret in a JSON format. So again, a quick explanation. kubectl on the namespace Argo CD, get the secret, get information about the secret, Argo CD initial admin secret, and I want it in a JSON format. So the output should be in JSON format. If I give that, you see it gives the output in a JSON format, and there you see the structure data. Under data there is a password, but this password you cannot use it directly. If I try, it will fail. Nope, it says invalid. Why? Because this is a base64 encoded password. Base64 is an encode decode mechanism to encrypt your passwords to make it even more secure. So it is base64 encoded, which means you have to decode this one to retrieve the actual password that is sitting behind. To do that, you give echo -n base64 -d, and you have a password coming out. If I give that, boom, it takes you in. Or if you are finding it a little lazy to do these steps, there is a one-liner command which will do this for you. Again, copy this. It's pretty much doing the same stuff, and if it's going to give you the same password. Right, all good. We are in, and that leads us to getting started with Argo CD. So before we jump into the next episode of actually playing around with an actual application, what are the prerequisites you need? You need a Git repository where we are going to put in some source code and deployment manifest files, and basic understanding of how a Helm or a customized works. That's pretty much it. All right, if this video was interesting, please do like, share, and subscribe. Keep watching. Let's DevOps. Take care. Bye-bye.